Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Denver, Colorado for the IRT. I am Fabio Soto with Sam Schultz, Rodrigo Mendoza, and Pablo Fajre. This is the 2023 KWM Gutterman World Singles and Doubles Open Racquetball Championships presented by RB Sales Inc. Sam, good morning, Super Saturday.
Yeah, good morning, Fabio. We have great matches here on the docket for you guys today. Start out with Jake Bredenbeck and Carlos Keller. Should be a good one this morning. And then we have our other quarterfinals in Colorado. Moscoso up top versus Adam Mania. We'll have some mixed doubles in between and then get on to our semifinals later tonight. Head official for this match is Jaime Martel.
So Jake Bredenbeck and Carlos Keller about to begin this match. The number 2 ranked player on tour, the Minnesota Viking, Jake Bredenbeck, versus the Bolivian phenom as well, Carlos Keller. Remember, he is the runner-up of the U.S. Open versus Daniel De La Rosa. And we're about to get started. Referee, line judges, everything is set in motion. Welcome, everybody. We're about to begin. Line judges are Kadim Carrasco, Eric Garcia, head referee Jaime Martel. Carlos Keller will start us off. And we remember Carlos Keller. He's not a tour regular, but I got to tell you, Sam, I'm excited to see him here. Remember, a couple of years back, he was the runner-up at the U.S. Open versus Daniel De La Rosa. He got to the final. An amazing feat from Carlos Keller. Very nice gentleman, very likable. Such a true sportsman. Great pass, overhead shot.
Yeah, we just saw Carlos Keller play with his brother.
Roland Keller.
Yeah, had played open doubles this morning. They won in 2 straight.
What a great serve, ace. And what a way to start the match for the Minnesota Viking.
Yeah, Jake Bredenbeck, all gas all the time. Setup. No, he'll go up top.
And you know what? Part of the success for Jake Bredenbeck, besides his training consistency, is his aggressiveness. Always on offense, always on offense. Never one to hold back. Shooting, strength, power. And that keeps all of his opponents on his toes.
Yeah, as far as Carlos Keller, he's more of a soft touch game up front. Loves to control the ball, control where his opponent has to hit it from. Not that he can't bring the heat himself, though. Two clashing styles here in our first round this morning, Fabio.
I got to tell you, it's a little bit unpredictable. I mean, you got 2 powerhouses, you know, kind of get an idea what's going to happen. You got 2 control guys, you kind of get the idea, but you got these guys of power and control just like that. See Carlos Keller just touching the ball very, very smoothly. Gets the side out. That kind of is going to throw Jake off a little bit.
Yeah, that ball's not going to be blasted right back at Jake like he's used to. Carlos going to do that right there. Force Jake to move, force Jake to go get it.
Keller.
Great shot right there by Carlos Keller.
And as you mentioned, you just saw him play with his brother Roland Keller. They played in the open doubles. They won in 2 straight. So Keller is warmed up.
Yeah, Jake, this is his first match of the day. He's only in singles the rest of the way. Great get right there by Jake Bredenbeck. Some deceptive speed.
Good reach, and right now Keller with that down the line shot to earn him point number 3. Not a style that Jake is used to facing. And this is where he has to pull out all the stops.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of an adjustment period here by Jake Bredenbeck to get used to Carlos Keller's style.
And we saw it, you know, throughout this tournament. You know, when he faced, for example, Diego Gastelum, right? He needed some time to adjust, and he did. He the first game wasn't, as compelling, but the second game he comes out guns blazing because he adapted. So that's one of the things that Jake does, and we don't talk about it enough, how he utilizes his weaponry of being adaptive, of being, adjusting, and he does very, very well. I want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in for Super Saturday. Like our post, share our feed, keep following us on social media. So an avoidable is called. Let's see if Keller appeals. No, he's not appealing.
No appeal. Jake Bredenbeck serving, 2 serving 4.
Remember, he has 2 appeals per game.
Avoidable call there, that time in favor of Keller.
I have to agree with the referee on that one. Jake was really just behind him. Keller could not swing.
No. Not only do we see 2 different styles of players on the court with a control game of Keller and a pounding game of Jake Bredenbeck, but we see 2 different characteristics. And Jake Bredenbeck, he'll be loud, he'll be boisterous, he'll let you know if he disagrees with a call.
Yeah.
Carlos Keller, on the other hand, he'll let you know he disagrees with it, but he's a lot more mellow. He knows he can appeal. Not going to get all loud up in your face, as Jake would sometimes do. Two serving 5. See if Jake can bring the heat here on this serve.
It's a good cross-court shot there by Keller, just keeping it away from Jake. 5 serving 2.
Yeah, great shot right there. Really smart by Carlos Keller. And that's what we're going to see out of him time and time again. A lot of smart play by Carlos Keller. Good shot selection, good anticipation, good reach. Jake snapping that one back down the line. Beautiful shot by him. Keller just couldn't catch up with that one. Short serve right there by Jake Bredenbeck, trying to go to the forehand side of Keller.
Wow, very, very awesome backhanded shot by Jake.
Yeah, an amazing shot right there by Jake Bredenbeck. Earns himself point number 3. Great tracking by Jake Bredenbeck, able to snap that ball that was already by him across the court.
Well, he's predicting Carlos's sequences a little better. He's adjusting really, really well. He's down by 2.
And Carlos Keller's not going to be too unpredictable. He just plays very good, very smart racquetball.
Ace serve by Bredenbeck. Now he's down by 1. So adaptation is the name of the game right now. So Jake is now trying to pull Keller into his own game. Replay call, and I agree with the referee. I don't see Keller appealing, though.
No, but he will talk to our head referee, Jaime Martel.
5 serving 6. Oh, that's an unfortunate bounce on the left corner.
Yeah, that ball just dies in the back left corner right there. Nothing Jake could do about it. Carlos, a fortunate break. See if he can capitalize on it.
Carlos tries to go with that backhanded down the line. Skips. Unforced error.
Yeah, and you see Jake just shaking his head there. He's not happy with himself with the setup that he left Carlos Keller.
Of course, Keller, a very successful singles player from Bolivia, represented his country in many, many, many international IRF events as a singles player. So for many years, it's been Moscoso and Keller doing singles for Bolivia.
Yeah, Keller now in the box, leading only by 1. His lead has shrunk quite a bit. Jake snapping another one cross court. Keller just unable to track that one down. We'll see if Keller can make the adjustments needed now, Fabio. We saw Jake make them. Now trying to pull Keller more into his game. We'll see if Keller can counter back.
Well, with shots like that, it's going to be really difficult because Jake's just doing a masterful class right now of how power is in his favor. But it's not that Carlos Keller is not used to playing with power players. Remember, he lives in Bolivia. You got a lot of power players there.
Great get by Jake. Set up off the back wall by Carlos. This time the setup goes to Jake Bredenbeck, able to put it down the line. Carlos Keller got it, and a replay will be called. No, point for Jake Bredenbeck.
Yeah, I mean, that ball just hit Jake, but there was no way that ball was reaching. Martel calls for the point. There is no appeal by Keller. We move on. 7 serving 6. And there's a lot of talent in Bolivia to spar with. And for example, Keller spars a lot with his brother Roland. He spars with Natalia Mendez. You know, if you see him on his social media, he spars with a lot of different players from both IRT and LPRT.
Yeah, both these players, very hard workers.
Another good shot by Jake. Now he's on a roll, 9-6, and timeout called by Carlos Keller. Barrels to take a 1-minute break, and we will too. We'll be back on IRT Live.
John Story joined the U.S. military, was killed in an inside attack on the 12th of February 2014. The biggest thing we want to do to help our local Gold Star families and our veterans, that we bring awareness to their opportunities to be served, to be taken care of, to bring to light ever-increasing need for our veterans specifically, to have housing, to have good benefits, to be taken care of. Go to livelikejohn.us. Go to the Donate Now button and help us fulfill our mission.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We resume play with game number 1 as Jake Bredenbeck just surpassed Carlos Keller. You know, Sam, we got to talk about Jake's high racquetball IQ that he's showing right now.
Yeah, it's tournament after tournament. It keeps growing. Racquetball IQ, his quickness to adjust to players he may have never seen play before. This is why many believe that he can very soon be the next #1 player on tour and be the first U.S. #1 player on tour since Rocky Carson.
It's a good side out there by Carlos Keller. Good timeout for him. Down the line shot. Putting Jake back there to receive. And I totally believe what you're saying. I mean, there's destiny written all over it. Jake should reach the #1 ranking soon in his career.
Carlos Keller set up off the back wall. Jake just unable to get that one.
So it seemed in that shot that Carlos was challenging Bredenbeck because he had other options that seemed to be a lot more compelling and easier. But that's another way of him making a statement, telling Jake that, hey, you know what? I'm here to play.
Yeah, I can hit this ball right at you and so low that you cannot get it. A statement just sent by Carlos Keller.
Short. Second opportunity.
Lob serve this time from Keller. Shoots a smart cross court. Jake able to get there and track it down.
Wow, what good ball control that we're seeing. Great display by Keller. Just tapping it on the left corner. Let's see a replay of that shot. It's a good cross-court action. Jake went to the back, then Carlos just waiting for Jake. Tapping it, boom, gone, left corner.
Great serve right there by Carlos Keller. Catches Jake off guard. Behind the back goes Jake. Carlos this time off the back wall. He has to track this one down again. Jake Bredenbeck set up, forehand, center of the court. Hits it hard, but to no avail as Carlos Keller puts it where Bredenbeck is not.
And we got a match, 9-9 game number 1. This is getting very exciting.
Yeah, I know during the timeout, Fabio, me and you were talking. We were wondering if Keller could make the adjustments in which he would have to keep this a close match. We see after that timeout, he was able to. See who counterpunches next.
Oh, that was very close by Keller, diving to the right side. Unfortunately, can't get it. Side out. Bredenbeck to the serve. So it's a race to 6 now, Sam. But momentum right now is in the favor of Keller.
However, Jake Bredenbeck is in the service box.
3 points in a row for Keller. Let's see if Jake can stop this run.
Great shot right there, chest high by Jake Bredenbeck.
So jumping in the air and just hitting it. How close was that to his own chest? He just put his racket, he swung at it, and it probably hit his own chest with that.
Yeah, he had to inside out that ball right into the front right corner for a point.
A powerful serve. Jake again, point number 2 in a row for him. Wow, great stuff. Corner, reverse pinch, gotta love it.
Yeah, Jake Bredenbeck heating up now, 11 serving 9 on a 2-point run.
Keller's sidewall front will kill.
Yeah, great shot right there by Carlos Keller.
Serve by Keller.
Keller able to track that one down, just puts it into the ground.
Listen, I didn't exactly like that that backhanded lob by Keller. It seemed a little lazy. You know, I want to see him. If he's going to do a second serve, at least a high lob next, something to make it a little bit more complicated.
Keller, beautiful ball control right there. See if Keller changes up that lob. Lob Z. Jake's return, if it was put down the line, most likely would have been a winner. Just clips the side wall. Gives Keller enough time to catch up with that one.
Remember, Jake Bredenbeck still has his timeout.
Keller again. the backhand lob. This time Jake goes up top with it. Keller thought that one was a skip. We'll see if we get an appeal if Jake wins this one. Great shot right there by Carlos Keller. No need to risk an appeal.
And that is a result of him ball tracking that perfectly well. You know, he should not stop and look at the referee in the middle of the rally. Just continue to move forward. If you get an appeal, then appeal. Keller right now ties it back up at 11 apiece.
Carlos slipping in the middle of the court right there. Looks like he found a wet spot on the floor.
I want to thank again everybody for watching and tuning in. Remember to like our post, share our feed, keep following us on social media. This is Super Saturday, Sam. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we got some exciting matches between quarterfinals and semifinals of the mixed. So we will have some great matches today. At 1:15, we have the mixed. So we're going to do a cross promotion and broadcasting with the LPRT. Excited to see that one.
Yeah, we'll have here on our IRT network Lalo Portillo and Alexandria Herrera versus Conrado Moscoso and Paola Longoria. Great dive and get right there by Carlos Keller, just unable.
He's just playing too soft. I mean, Jake is full power, full force. Not that he has to play at the level of Jake's power and force, but he has to be more aggressive. We're gonna keep seeing, Sam, a lot of side outs if Carlos Keller is gonna keep playing that way. But not in his favor, though.
No. And this match so far through game number one, a lot closer than people may have expected. Carlos Keller Vargas, the number 23 seeded player, had to get here by way of the qualifying draw.
He doesn't come out to IRT events that much and that often, not as much as Moscoso or Carrasco or even his brother Roland.
Yeah.
But when he's here, he's one of those guys that just breaks the draw,
yeah,
so to speak.
When he's here, we definitely get a treat. Yeah, Carlos Keller Vargas able to get here by way of defeating Andres Acuna, the 10 seed in the round of 32s, and then Juan Francisco Cueva, the number 26 seed in the round of 16s. Jake Bredenbeck got here by way of beating Diego Gastelum in the round of 32s, and then beating Eric Cuevas in the round of 16s.
And a backhanded skip there by Jake Bredenbeck. Got a little too desperate right there. Lost his patience. Now 12-12. Yes, and I agree with you, Sam, what you said earlier. I did not expect this match to be this close in the game number one.
And we're in for a treat, Fabio, if it remains this close all the way to the wire. They take a towel timeout. Carlos Keller in the box. He tied it up. Let's see if he can now take the lead again. Keller, a good serve, set up off the back wall, guides it well, ball tracking ability like no other, and snaps across court winner with his backhand, 13 serving 12. Keller now 2 points away from victory in game number one. Jake forced to go up top. Keller will take this one with his backhand.
Keller with his skip, an unforced error. And you know what? That would have been for game point right there. Unfortunately, Keller seems to lose a little bit of focus.
Yeah, but I like the aggression, Fabio. It looks like Carlos Keller is shooting now time and time again, like he's gained some confidence in his ability to shoot and control the pace of play.
Jake, point number 13. We have once again a tied game number one. Wow, this is going to the wire, Sam.
Yeah, tied ball game for the fourth or fifth time here in game number one. It's been tight all the way through this game. 13-13. Jake Bredenbeck in the box. That wrap serve has been working for him. See if an appeal comes from Carlos Keller. One did come from Keller. Both line judges agree.
Wow, Jake. A compelling play. Game number 1 over. Jake Bredenbeck takes it 15-13. Players will take a 2-minute break, and we will too, and we'll be back on IRT Live.
Hi, this is John Criswell. Welcome to Manufacturing Marvels. Today we're in Rockdale, Illinois, approximately 45 miles southwest of Chicago. For over 50 years, KWM GUTTERMAN Incorporated has established itself as the premier and is currently the largest gutter machine manufacturer in the United States. Initially founded by Carl W. Miner Sr. in the early 1960s, this family-owned business has thrived through 3 generations to continue building the highest quality portable gutter forming machines in the world today. They are masterful in manufacturing KWM's Ironman gutter machines and nationally recognized as experts in the gutter industry. KWM's entire product line is manufactured at 2 state-of-the-art locations. Rockdale houses a 45,000 square foot CNC and assembly facility, and Shanahan houses a 15,000 square foot fabrication facility. Adhering to their family values, integrity, and a particularly homegrown way of doing business has made KWM a success story around the globe. KWM gutter machines are sold on 5 continents, including
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Game number 2. So, Sam, tied game, then apart, then tied game. This game was tied about 6 times, and Bredenbeck came out on top 15-13. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts on this one is that Carlos Keller has to stay aggressive, has to keep shooting. We saw him do it through spurts in game number 1. That's where he had his success. That's where he scored his points. In order for him to win game 2 and force a tiebreaker, we have to look for him to be aggressive. Doesn't mean he has to hit as hard as Jake Bredenbeck. Doesn't mean he has to try to blast it right at him. But play within his game while still being aggressive does Carlos Keller have to do in order to force a tiebreaker here against Jake Bredenbeck. So to serve, we will see Jake Bredenbeck serving first in game number 2. Head official, once again, Jaime Martel.
I want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in. Like our post, share our feed, keep following us on social media. Super Saturday underway. The court next to us in the LPRT have Paola Longoria versus Alexandra Herrera. They have their semifinals right now in the LPRT. We're in the quarters.
Great
Keller.
shot right there by Carlos Keller.
So Keller changed his shirt from the blue to the black. Bredenbeck still in his salmon shirt. Or would you call that coral? Just asking.
Could even go with a offset of pink.
What about peach?
Peach. I like peach. We can go with
peaches, peaches.
from the new Mario movie.
Keller to the serve. Still tied at 0s.
Everyone in Minnesota right now singing "I Love Peaches."
Wow, what a great pass right there by Keller. Backhanded, just out of the reach from Bredenbeck. And you got to figure, what is the game plan change right now for Keller in order to take this one to the distance? We'll see if he adapted any changes. Wow, Jake just slapping that one and utilizing the side wall. Kill shot.
So now Jake Bredenbeck in the service box trying to score his first point in game number 2.
Tried to go between the legs, but no. Too powerful of a serve there from Bredenbeck.
Yeah, just a little bit too fancy right there by Carlos Keller. Would have loved to see him step back and shoot that one. Then again, easier said than done. Fabio, do we have an update on the LPRT court where it's Alexandria Herrera and Paola Longoria?
Yeah, Paola Longoria won the first game, and right now there's a timeout in the second game. She's up 7-3.
Keller back in the box now. 1 serving 2.
So remember, after this match, we got Conrado Moscoso versus Adam Manilla. And the women will have their other semifinal, which will be Montserrat Mejia versus Brenda Laime. As Jake Bredenbeck takes control of the ball again. 2 serving 1.
Yeah, Jake Bredenbeck right there, not leaving anything to chance. Carlos Keller was down on the ground in front of him, was not going to wait for the referee to make a call. Swinging for the fences was Bredenbeck.
Jaime Martel, the official, walking back out. Very experienced official. Jaime Martel has been reffing for over 10 years for the International Racquetball Federation. So he knows what he's doing. Oh, I think it's a repeat is going to call out a replay. I don't know exactly why. Jay kind of snapping that ball.
Great put away right there by Carlos Keller. That ball was just too far up front, too much of a floater for Jake to expect to be able to play defense against Keller's shot. Short serve. It'll be a second serve upcoming here by Keller. He's going to stick with that backhand high lob Z. Jake stepping up to cut it off.
Too much heat there. You know, again, that second serve from Keller just seems to be a little lazy, and I would like to see him try something different. Just to, you know, kind of keep Jake on his toes, maybe a high lob nick or something different.
Yeah, a little lazy, a little loose. Got to hit that ball tighter if you want a better response out of Jake Bredenbeck. Great hands right there by both players in the center court.
Just to give you an update right now, Andre Parrilla versus Daniel De La Rosa. Andre Parrilla took game number 1, 15-8.
Wow. According to seed, it's not that huge of an upset. According to what we know both players as, Daniel, the former #1 player in the world, big upset.
Great
shot.
shot. You know, that's the thing about Keller. He has long arms. He has a huge reach. And those shots, just like the one he took right now, are just not going to be that much of a challenge with him. He doesn't even have to encroach down all that much. His arms are just, you know, they're really, really long.
Yeah, both of these players, long arms, can get balls that almost nobody else on tour can.
That's point number 2 for Keller. Skip shot by Bredenbeck. Oh, Keller barely touched that one.
So Jake now back in the box at 3, serving 2. Good serve right there by Jake. He has to track this ball down. Keller just unable to get to that one. Diving effort in the front court.
And good tracking on the hands of Jake. He does, because you know what? Coming off of the back wall and hitting it like that just did not give Keller an opportunity. That ball was just hit so low. And you see how Carlos Keller, he's always one to wear knee pads when he plays. 'Cause again, he's an experienced player, but he dives a lot. He's not afraid to slide. He's not afraid to dive. So you're going to see that a lot from him. Jake's up top now, 4-2. Both of them still have their timeouts.
Four serving 2. See if Jake can extend his lead here, take more solid command here in game number 2. It's a great serve by Jake right there, but better return by Carlos Keller.
Listen, returning that serve is no easy feat. I honestly thought that had ace written all over it.
It was signed, sealed, but it was not delivered.
That package was returned.
Return to sender by Carlos Keller. He did change up his second serve of a lob. Thought that was maybe a skip or two bounces by Jake. He goes between the legs there. Carlos shooting.
Carlos with the mistake. He's appealing.
He will appeal the two bounces on Jake Bredenbeck. See, one up.
Good. One up. There you go.
And that's all you need. Call stands.
Call stands. But here's the thing, though. Again, that second serve, not aggressive at all. Just a little lollipop there for Jake. And you know what? Jake is never going to hesitate.
Jake now wanting his forehand. He'll go up top. See if Keller gets aggressive. He does. Cross the court. Beautiful pass right there by Carlos Keller.
Those cross-court shots from Keller have been very successful, very good to him. Jake needs to figure that out.
Jake having to go up top. Carlos Keller not crossing this time. He goes up top. Set up for Jake. Good get right there by Carlos Keller. Just unable to get it back to the front wall.
Side out. Bredenbeck in control again.
Bredenbeck now changes up where he's serving from, and it pays off as he gets an ace right there.
And that's the change of position that Jake has been handling very, very well. He didn't serve in his usual spot. He served somewhere else, and it threw Carlos off.
Yeah, Carlos was not prepared for what was to come. Didn't know what Jake was going to hit.
And again, different spot and a different serve. Easy shot for Jay. He was just waiting for it. He got an easy setup. And Carlos got boxed into the right. There's nothing really he could do.
Yeah, Carlos got boxed into the right, but he was playing the matrix, trying to get out of the way of that ball, teleporting that ball through his body, screening Jake Bredenbeck, but we don't see a complaint from Jake.
3 different serves in a row. That is unavoidable. I agree with the referee. There is no appeal in the hands of Keller. But you got to figure out 3 different serves, 3 different motions, and 3 points in a row. So,
and that's an ace right there from Jake Bredenbeck.
Jake is mixing it up, 4 points in a row. So there's an appeal for the serve.
Yeah.
Carlos says it was a screen. Let's see what the sideline judges say.
1 down.
I didn't see the left referee.
Yeah, our right sideline judge had a down call. Not sure what the left one said.
Well, 4 points in a row. It's 8-2 now. I think Keller is out of appeals. He can only appeal if it's match point now.
Or game point in his favor.
Oh, agreed.
Great serve right there by Jake Bredenbeck. Good hands by Carlos Keller to keep both of those balls alive. He has an opportunity and capitalizes on it right there.
So just to give you a quick update, Paola is leading game number 2, 9-8.
Much tighter here in game 2 on the LPRT court than in game 1. Saw Carlos Keller keep that lob Z a lot tighter than it once was, awarding him point number 3. Short serve right there. Looks like he'll stick with this backhand lob Z. This one's loose. Good get by Carlos. Slicing inside to out was Carlos Keller. Boxed himself in between the ball and a hard place. Never a good place to be, but much better than a rock in a hard place. So now Keller, 2 points in a row. 4 serving 8. Thunderous return right there by Jake Bredenbeck. Great service return right there by Carlos Keller, stepping over with his forehand and snapping it back down the line. He's been going cross court with those all day. Changes it up to down the line. Jake Bredenbeck just not expecting it. Jake Bredenbeck caught up in the front court right there. So far out of position, Carlos Keller blasts it right by him. Keller now on a 3-point run, trying to claw his way back into game number 2.
Well, slowly but surely, but you know, with a down the line reverse shot like that by Jake, it's going to be a little difficult. And you know, again, I want to see more aggressive Carlos Keller with the serve. Great pickup by Bredenbeck.
See, this is what I thought would be the difference maker for Keller in the second game. He's more comfortable. Now he's shooting the ball, being aggressive. That's what we need to see him doing. Doesn't have to hit with the same pace as Jake, but needs to stay foot on the gas and be aggressive. Carlos Keller now set up center of the court.
Oh, Jake just snapping that one. Went for a skip. Now Keller is creeping very slowly but surely. 6 serving 8 now.
Yeah, 1 point at a time. That's the only way it can be done in racquetball. Can't be scored in 2s or 3s. 1 at a time.
Down the line. Great pickup by Jake. Keller again picked up. Keller's going to have to work a little harder on those shots.
And he's doing about all he can right now, Fabio. And it still may not be enough at the end of this one, but it is for this rally. Great shot right there by Carlos Keller.
I got to hand it to him. He's just, you know, he didn't get desperate. He didn't lose patience. He didn't lose focus. He kept on it. He had so many opportunities there.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how Carlos Keller stays on the offensive all the time now, and Jake still playing great defense where it keeps Keller on his toes. Wow, great reaching get. And Carlos Keller playing pinball, left shoe, right shoe, couldn't make it back to the front wall. So Jake Bredenbeck now back in the box. 8 serving 7. Good serve right there by Jake. Good pickup by Keller. He read it well, just anticipated maybe a little bit too well.
Hey, you know what? Jake had other opportunities. I thought he was probably going to go down the line. He had the white court open, but again, that's a challenge. It's a challenging thing. Hey, you know what? I can do it. I can throw it at you, just like you said earlier. I can throw it at you. You're not going to pick it up. Jake again. Wow, powerful. 10 serving 7. Jake Bredenbeck is 5 points away for advancing to the semifinals.
Yeah, but Carlos Keller right there on Jake Bredenbeck's heels, only 3 points away from advancing.
So, Sam, Coming up next, Conrado Moscoso versus Adam Manilla. It's going to be exciting matches coming up. So
yeah, it'll be very interesting, Fabio, in that match. Adam Manilla being a lefty and Conrado Moscoso with his thunderous backhand. It'll be a no-fly zone on the left-hand side of the court for either player. Back to the action here in this match. Bredenbeck to serve. Keller has to go up top time and time again. One of the longest ceiling ball rallies we've seen all weekend right there, 4 in a row. Don't see many, very hard to control at this height and altitude.
So Jake is loving that right corner. Out of those last 3 points, the right corner has been his. And not just that, he's shooting it in a way that barely makes it off of the front wall. And Carlos Keller has had to dive to get that ball. And being unsuccessful, either Carlos Keller adapts to those shots, gets in front of the encroachment line, or he's got to do something else different because it's not working.
Yeah, and if Carlos Keller gets in front of that encroachment line and starts trying to adapt to those shots, he has to pick and choose when he does it, because getting in front of that encroachment line opens you up to those wide angles, those passing shots that Jake can hit very well. Jaime Martel walking off the court right there. No shirt change ordered for either player yet. Carlos Keller voluntarily changed shirts in between game 1 and game 2. But Bredenbeck now in the box, 4 points away from victory. Keller 4 points away from Bredenbeck. Appeared to be a short serve, no call. Keller out of appeal, so he has to play it.
Wow. Good reach by Keller.
And now Jake Bredenbeck, a very veteran move. He's going to appeal the serve.
Oh, I love that. I love those side appeals. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, it did not. Right sideline judge where the serve went disagreed. Left sideline judge agreed. Ceiling balls all around. This one's short. Carlos can shoot, and he does very well, awarding him point number 8. Now 8 serving 11. Keller trying to force a breaker. Left that one up, but it'll be a setup off the back wall for Keller. Puts it down the line very nicely. Carlos Keller now, forehand setup this time. Jake, good hands just to get that one back to the front wall.
Cross court right there. Keller, a winner.
Yeah, once again, Fabio, a lot closer than many people thought, especially to start game number 2. Looked like Jake Bredenbeck was going to have one of his statement games. Come out here, pedal to the metal.
Well, you know what? We're in the quarterfinals. We're not going to see a statement game that easily. Keller, that was not good for Keller. That shot that was going to go down the line, it clipped the side wall, and it gave Jake enough of an opportunity to get back in it. Gets the side out. Bredenbeck still leading by 1, 11-10.
Good wide angles by both players. Jake down to a knee to get that one. Carlos tracking well.
Good pass.
Yeah, Jake Bredenbeck unable to catch up with that one. Carlos Keller in the box, down only by 1 now. 10 serving 11. And a skip right there by Jake. Costly mistake.
We're tied once again, 11-11. So Carlos Keller is keeping it close.
And a timeout by Jake Bredenbeck. We'll take a timeout too. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back here on IRT Live.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some exciting action here in game number 2. Carlos Keller has been on a roll. See Jake Bredenbeck go back in. Just has to wipe down his equipment really quick. No timeout charge to Jake Bredenbeck. Just a little equipment timeout right there. So Jake Bredenbeck out of timeouts. Keller in the box, race to 4. Who can get there first?
Well, we'll have to wait and see because this is very, very close. I don't understand what Keller is arguing about. Well, he's going back to the serve.
I think he just wanted to score clarification. We don't have a microphone inside the court, so hard for these players to hear what the score is.
11-11.
Good serve right there by Keller. Just a reminder, he's used both appeals, so he has to play through any call a referee could make.
He can only appeal game or match point. So we'll see.
And he's hoping that it will be game point here soon.
I agree with you on that one. 12 serving 11 now.
Wants to avoid match point in game 2 at all costs.
Wow,
Keller falling down, able to get it back to the front wall, and Jake pummeled it.
Well, you know what? Those are the opportunities that Jake needs to take advantage of, and he does. Let's take a replay. Let's take a look at this shot again. So Keller tries to go that cross court when he's been doing. Now he falls, unfortunately. He's okay, though. He got up. No problem right there. And Jake just killed it in the right corner, as he should. Leave no opportunity. Take no prisoners. Let's take a look at that again once more. See how consistent you have to be. But other than that, you have to be compelling, solid. Look at Jake. Take a look. He knew where Carlos Keller was. He wrapped around his body. He saw his position, and the judgment was on point for Bredenbeck. Now he has the ball, but he's still trailing by 1, 11, serving 12.
Yeah, see if Jake can get his serve working for him here. One of Jake Bredenbeck's biggest weapons. Keller setup. Another setup. Keller liking his forehand maybe a little bit too much right there. Instead of spinning to take a backhand, jammed himself into the corner. 12 serving 12.
Keller. Wow, what an answer. What an answer. That's a side out, and Jake is appealing that side out. Let's see. Call good, call stands. Loss of an appeal for Jake. Wow. Not happy about that one, but from my point of view, Sam, it was a good return.
Yeah, great return to serve right there by Carlos Keller.
We're still tied at 12 apiece. Race to 3. Bredenbeck 3 points away from taking this one. Carlos Keller 3 points away from going to the distance.
Great get right there by Keller. Can he get up in time to save another? He does. 2 great gets by Keller now. And now he can go on the offensive. Tight battle in the center of the court by both of these players.
Wow. Compelling shot. Jake.
Great shot right there by Jake Bredenbeck to get himself back in the box. The very powerful Jake Bredenbeck ends that rally with a Tyrannosaurus Rex scream. A scream to match the size of the Viking. Letting the crowd know that he is here and he is here to stay, trying to get his way on top of the tour.
So I got to ask you, Sam, just erase the three, but it's going to be probably the 3 toughest points for Carlos Keller in this tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be the 3 toughest points for Carlos Keller, but also the 3 toughest points for Jake Bredenbeck. So far, Jake Bredenbeck has not been pushed to a tiebreaker. Carlos Keller has. In this tournament, Carlos Keller 1-0 in a breaker. Jake Bredenbeck has not had to go the distance yet in this tournament. We'll see if Carlos Keller can push him to do so right here, or if Jake can end it into 12 serving 12.
Keller can't get to it. Jake, fantastic shot. 13 serving 12. And you're right, Sam. You know, Jake has not been pushed to the limit as of yet. He's won all his matches in 2 straight. Keller had to play against Andres Acuna, and he went to 11-8 tiebreaker. He's been pushed to the limit. Can this be 14?
Jake almost had an ace serve. No call going to come, and an appeal cannot come.
No appeals left. Carlos Keller is at the mercy of the referee. However, at 14 serving 12, he could appeal a match point if necessary.
He can appeal as much and as many times as he wants on this rally, but he cannot on the previous.
And I got to tell you, he didn't have a comfortable swing, but for me, that was a good call by the ref.
Yeah, not comfortable does not necessarily mean that there should be a hinder.
Match point number 1 for Bredenbeck. Let's see if the Minnesota Viking can close this one. A wraparound serve and a victory for Jake Bredenbeck. Congratulations to advancing to the semifinals.
Yeah, congratulations to Jake Bredenbeck advancing 15-13, 15-12 over Carlos Keller. Give us just about 15 minutes coming up on the IRT show court. The number 1 player in the world, Conrado Moscoso, will face off against the number 8th ranked player in the world, Adam Mania. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. For Sam Schultz and Fabio Soto, as well as our production crew of Rodrigo Mendoza and Pablo Farge, we're signing off on IRT Live.